to go live. I am going live. What's up, everybody? All right. The tea is hot. The tea is hot, baby. The tea is mighty hot. What is up? Okay, let's see. Let's set up the stream. Okay. What's up? What's up? Much better. Okay. What's up, everybody? Yeah, I'm having a good day. How you guys doing? I'm just getting the live set up over here on the horizontal really quickly. Smash that like if you just joined. What's up? What's up, everybody? Where you guys tapping in from? Okay. Microphone's all the way up. All right. Okay. Nice, nice. You from UK, Canada? What's up? What's up, guys? Yeah. Throwback blockbuster card. Nice to meet you guys. My name is Mr. G, the recycling guy. I'm from the Bronx, right from New York. I operate my own bottle and can redemption route. And if you're from Canada, you probably know what I'm talking about. And if you're UK, you may know what I'm talking about. So bottle redemption is literally where you take empty cans and bottles, waste cans and bottles, and you turn them in for money. And so my channel is pretty much based on that, my bottle and can redemption route. I hope you guys enjoying. And absolutely. So I'm probably one of the only channels on YouTube that discusses how to make money returning your cans and bottles. So I run a independent side hustle for more than 3 years now. I'm on my 4th year. And I hope you all are having a good evening. I had a pretty good day. I'm not even going to hold you up. Today is Friday. Feeling good. Let's go live. Yeah, so it's nice to see everybody tapping in from wherever you are. That's cool. That's cool. They need to have a scheme like that. I think every municipality around the globe needs to have a bottle return scheme. And we're going to get into that really shortly. Okay. Once again, everybody that's coming in, my name is Mr. G, the Recycling Guy. Greetings. What's up, bro? Okay. Do I just need to set it up from here? All right, just start streaming. All right. I think we are ready to start. So I'm going to be doing a horizontal stream. Need to set up a broadcast. Okay, cool. I'm going to be setting up a horizontal stream on my channel. So if you're watching in from the vertical right here, go click on my channel, and we're about to go live right now. Okay. Just click keep that. Yes, sir. Yo. Now I like these shades, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. These are my favorites. I wear them every day. I definitely got my money's worth when I bought these shades. I should invest in them. In the company, at least. Oh, let me move this out the way. Okay. Where are you from, bro? Oi. Oi. What's up? What's up, bro? Nah, bro. I know what I'm doing. I'm driving. I'm driving right now. I'm driving the internet, bro. Definitely need shades. Right? I'm going to 150 miles an hour right now. I'm going to be going 300 miles an hour in a minute. I'm just over here setting up the stream on this side. I'm over here on the mobile. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What's this live title? Okay. 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 Let me ask you guys a question real quick. Do you guys recycle? Wherever you from? Well, matter of fact, let me ask you a better question. Would you recycle? Would you return? There you go. No, I gotta make it recycling. I gotta make it recycle. Would you recycle? Okay, let's see. Let's see. Would you recycle your cans and bottles for money. Here we go. So that's the question of the night right there. Let's draw a little emoji. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Let's see. All right. Cool. So let's see if this can stay right here. Hope that's not too small. All right, let's start that poll. Bang. Okay. All right. Let's see. Can I keep it somewhere over here? No? I guess not. Uh-oh. Do you recycle? Nice. Recycle plastic, glass, and metal. Nice, nice. We have a guy to come pick up 2 times a week to do pickups, then he sells it. Yeah, that's me. I'm the guy that comes to do the pickup. Nice. So does he come to your door, Bama, in the Philippines? Does he come to your door and do curbside pickup? Let's see. Public. Okie dokie. I'm reloaded. All right. Let's start streaming. All right, guys. What is up? What is up? How's everybody doing tonight? Good to see you all on this side and that side. Take it away. What is up, everybody? Mr. G here. And I hope you guys are having a good evening. Tonight, we are going over a few things, just having a little Ask Me Anything session. I'm over here dual streaming. So if you guys click on my channel, just like, subscribe, click on my channel. You're going to see me dual streaming. I'm on a horizontal right here. We're going to be reacting to a few videos, going over the news and everything like that. But for the meantime, I hope you guys are enjoying. So I see a few people from the UK in the chat. And the UK, some parts of the UK have return schemes and some don't. I believe Germany has a return scheme. Yeah, and the Philippines definitely needs more of an incentive to recycle, right? Because in the Philippines, there's a lot of trash, especially in the rivers and different bodies of water out there. And what initially started return schemes were people protesting the pollution going on by these corporations, right? And the reason why we have them now is because of people protesting. So if there were people actually maybe lobbying the government or protesting, we'd get some kind of a progressive action on recycling in the Philippines. It's always people power that starts these things. So, Chris, you have no return schemes. Yeah, that's crazy. Some places it's up to 25 cents. Over here in New York is only 5 cents. Let me pull this camera downward a little bit. Let's see. There we go. All right. I want to be able to have at least 2 cameras on here. All right. Because I'm dual streaming. All right. We're going to get it together, guys. We're going to get it together. And if you guys are joining, welcome. Hit the like. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this topic, because this topic is recycling. I mean, what's so interesting about recycling, right? And I see a few of you guys already shared your answers in the poll. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? If you were to pay me to return my cans and bottles, right, to the vending machines, right, or to the store where I got it from, that's a no-brainer, right? And if you were to charge me a deposit, well, I guess I mean, to keep the environment clean, you know, I would definitely do that. And you mean to tell me people absolutely just discard these cans and bottles and I can pick them up and make money? Well, then here you go. So pretty much this is something that us here in New York, we always have been doing this for a long time. So since 1983, we've had return schemes here in New York. For lack of a better term, it was we always had return schemes by individual distributors, especially glass bottles, right? Because the distributors found it actually more expensive to create new bottles from the bottling companies, right? And so they created schemes where they would actually pay you back a little bit of the money to a little bit of your money back to give them back their bottles, right? I believe Red Bull. Fun fact: Red Bull. If you guys drink Red Bull in the chat, anybody that drinks Red Bull in the chat, I'm pretty sure you're going to be interested in this. So Red Bull had a thing where they were actually paying out 25 cents for their returns, and this was like back in 2008. And so Red Bull, every Red Bull can you found, especially here in New York, they were paying you back a quarter. And this was like for a brief period and everything like that. This was like 2008 to like 2010, I believe. And so I think this is when Red Bull was on a serious campaign to like really get their advertising and their brand out there. And so I remember, right? So around 2010, it was definitely an interesting time because the laws in New York changed. The laws in New York changed. I see, yeah, Red Bull, it gives you wings. So they say. Um, so, in New York around that time, 2008, 2009, 2010, water bottles, plastic water bottles actually were considered returnable. And since plastic water bottles were considered returnable, that's where this business became profitable. Um, So ever since 2009, that's where returning your cans and bottles as a serious business became plausible. Because before, there was only let me tell the whole story. Hold on, let me just tell somebody something really quickly. Okay, so the whole story with how this business came about really in New York is that bottles and can returns were always a thing in New York, right? It was kind of you would see more or less homeless people doing it and that sort of thing. So you would see homeless people doing it, and different more or less people from the economic underclass doing it, right? Let me just start there. And after a while, you saw a lot of Asians doing it as a means of saving money, because you'd see a lot of Asian retirees picking up cans and bottles in the street as a means of supplementing their income. So that's where the whole legend of Asian people always picking up cans and bottles came from. It was always Asian retirees that actually used to pick up pennies when pennies were worth a damn in this country. At some point, Asian retirees used to pick up the bottles and return them for the money. Sometimes lots and lots of bottles. But if it wasn't Asian people or old Asian retirees, and not just Asians, but that was the predominant like people that you would saw with big baskets full of big bags full of cans and bottles walking down Main Street. You would see them, and mostly homeless people, right? And so fast forward to 2009, right? So fast forward to 2009. Hold on, I'm going to answer some of your questions in a little bit. Just slow it down. And definitely, yeah, Shorty definitely want to ride with me, but take it easy. I was going to say that. So fast forward to 2009, we have the modernization of the bottle bill. And so what ended up happening in 2009, as a matter of fact, I'm going to Google it really quickly. Okay, 2009, New York State Returnable Container Act. Yeah. So in 2009, the Returnable Container Act was modernized. It was significantly amended. And if you guys are tuning in on this live stream right here, please jump onto my channel. And I hope you guys, let's see. Okay. Let's see. How many people are here? Select the stream. All right, all right. Okay. Well, all right, all right. We are gonna hold on to that really quickly. And so the New York State Returnable Container Act, commonly known as the Bottle Bill, was significantly amended in 2009 through Chapter 59 of the Laws of 2009, which took effect on April 7th, 2009. This amendment expanded the scope of the law by adding bottled water, right, without added sugar to the list of beverages subject to the deposit requirement, a change that became effective on October 31st, 2009. The 2009 amendments also increased the handling fees. So this is where it became important. The handling fees associated with collecting the return with the cans and bottles, and the inclusion of water bottles is as a beverage into the bottle bill effectively turned this thing into an entire business, right? So now in New York, you'll see more people than ever returning their cans and bottles as a means of supplementing their income. So not only were water bottles included, the original handling fee went up from 2 cents to 3.5 cents. So for every bottle that you return as a redemption center, or if you if you're in the business of returning the bottles back to the distributor themselves, you can earn up to 3.5 cents per container. So it went up from 2 cents for recyclers to 3.5 cents, and that mattered a lot because now it expanded the amount of available bottles for deposit and return, as well as increasing the handling fees. That was definitely a win. Okay, so moving on. Let us go to, let me see something. Hold on. Is anybody here? I remember seeing hold on. I remember seeing hold up, guys. Okay, we're gonna catch that audio. I just gotta make sure that the volume is on. So in case I play a video on here, I don't sound goofy playing the video. If you guys are joining over here, you can actually click on my channel, join the horizontal live, because this is actually where the action is at. Okay, and if you're joining in, where are you from? Casey's Custom Creation says we have it here in Oregon. I think it's 10 cents. People be cashing in water and then go cash in on the empty ones. Right. I heard about that. We got some news about a lot of people just basically cashing in the water bottles with their EBT money and getting the return in cash. Well, that's the system, right? Sometimes the system can be used against itself the wrong way, and all the wrong incentives end up coming about. But yeah, nice to meet you though, Casey's Custom Creations. I'm a local guy from New York. I operate my own bottle redemption route. And so the question up top, it says, would you like to return your cans and bottles? Would you recycle your cans and bottles for money? I think the overwhelming, resounding answer is yes, right? Because, I mean, why wouldn't you? This is something that we use every day. And why not return it and then get some money back, right? In fact, returning your cans and bottles, when you think about it, is one of the only things that you can get a rebate or your money back at all, right? Think about it. Everything that you buy throughout your life, you know what I mean, throughout your day, your daily consumer goods and things like that, can you return any part of them and get any kind of money back? Let's say we return the packaging, right, for like that pack of bacon that you bought last week at the supermarket. You just bring that wrapper for the pack of bacon back to the supermarket and say, hey, let me get the Let me get my 5 cents back, right? Because I want this out the environment, and I'm willing to pay an extra 2, 3 cents, right, or 5 cents deposit, so I can get my money back. I think a lot of people would agree with it because, and then we'd actually change the culture so much. You'd have people literally storing these things in their home and returning them every single day to the supermarket, right? And I think that's a more efficient system. So let's go to container deposit legislation in New York State. All right. Not just New York State, container deposit legislation in the United States. All right. So container deposit legislation in the United States goes back a long way. All right. So there are 10 states in the United States of America with container deposit legislation, popularly called bottle bills, after the Oregon bottle bill, the first such legislation that was passed. And I believe we had a few people from Oregon in the chat. If you're in the chat from Oregon, give me a thumbs up. Just give me a thumbs up, give me a one, and let's keep it going. And so after Oregon being the first state to create a bottle bill, we had other states, several states that followed, and I think Hawaii was the last state, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll see. Let's go on. Let's actually cover this entire wiki. Container deposit legislation. Let's see. All right, guys, I just had to make sure that you guys hear me. I hope you guys, if you guys are in the chat, just leave a one or a thumbs up in the chat. And so let's continue. Container deposit legislation requires a refundable deposit on certain types of recyclable beverage containers in order to ensure an increased recycling rate. So this wasn't something that was done on a whim. This was actually something done very ingeniously to, one, increase the recycling rate to keep this stuff out of the environment, but two, also incentivize people to do it. All right. So studies show that the recycling rate for beverage containers is vastly increased with a bottle bill. The United States overall beverage container recycling rate is approximately 33%. So you got to figure, if the current recycling rate is 33% in the United States with only 10 states participating, that's a lot more positive than you think. Because if we have 30 states participating, well, then I'm sure we'd have almost going towards 90%, right? 99% return rate if by this measure, right? So you have to figure, where are the most densest cities in America? If you're in a densely populated city or even densely populated town or suburb, this is something that you may want to think about implementing in your city or state. Having a bottle deposit, container deposit legislation is definitely what's needed, because you got to figure these corporations are making a lot of money giving you their product and you not knowing what to do with it, right? And just throwing it away, and it ends up not benefiting you in the long term, actually being damaging to your health and your future, right? By you not returning or recycling their product back to them, right? So it's not necessarily saying that corporations are bad for making money. I'm not somebody that's against people making money, but I am for efficient systems, right? So the whole concept of my channel is more or less to just highlight that, right? I have a lot of things to talk about in this space, but this is particularly the issue right here: container deposit legislation, right? Because container deposits are container deposits. We literally consume beverage containers more than ever. If you think about it, we consume beverage containers literally more than ever. Unless you're somebody that walks around permanently with a disposable container, you're bound to buy 100 disposable beverage containers on average. Every American, all right, every American citizen buys at least 100 disposable beverage containers every single year. There's no avoiding it, right? So you can multiply that figure by 100. And so let's go on. And so with the rate being 33%, imagine if we had just 30 states instead of 10 states participating in container deposit program. Okay, while states with container deposit laws have a 70% average rate of beverage container recycling. Michigan's rate of 97% from 1990 to 2008 was the highest in the nation, as its 10-cent deposit. Okay. So Michigan actually had the highest deposit return rate. So as you can see, incentives matter. So Michigan had a 10-cent deposit, and their recycling rate went from 1990 to 2008. So you got to figure, like, that's all the homeless guys that were on the side of the highways. Somebody eventually probably bought a car or a truck, and who knows, maybe got their life straight or something like that. I'm just looking at the bright side of these things, but yes, definitely having an incentive to recycle really, really matters. And in a place like Michigan, right, you don't figure Michigan is like densely populated like somewhere like New York, right? But they had just enough where it mattered that because their container pollution problem, excuse me, their container pollution problem was probably so great that they had to, institute deposit legislation. Okay, so numerous instances of criminal offenses motivated by the cash refund value of empty containers have been reported. I'm going to say that again. Numerous instances of criminal offenses motivated by the cash refund value of empty containers have been reported. Oh shit, they're talking about a Seinfeld, guys. They're talking about that episode of Seinfeld. They're talking about those people that go across state lines to recycle cans and bottles. I don't know, guys. Let's continue on. Proponents of container deposit legislation have pointed to the small financial responsibilities of the states. Financing these programs are the responsibility of the beverage industry and consumers. Producers are responsible for disposing of returned products, while consumers are responsible for collecting their refunds. So that's the whole idea, and that's the genius behind container deposit legislation, right? That's pretty much it. In Connecticut, Maine, Michigan, and Massachusetts, the courts have ruled that unclaimed deposits are deemed abandoned by the public and therefore the property of the state. In California and Hawaii, uncollected deposits are used to cover the administrative costs of the deposit program. Okay. In Iowa and Oregon, the beverage distribution industry keeps the unredeemed deposits. Okay. So in Iowa and Oregon, the beverage distributors, excuse me, tongue tied. Ours used to be 5 cents and then went to be 10 cents. Nice. So in certain states, the state keeps the unclaimed deposits. So if nobody returns the container, then the return goes to the state. The full return, the unclaimed return that you didn't claim goes to the state. And in certain states, if you don't return the container, well, then that unclaimed deposit goes back to the distributor, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because I actually agree with the distributor, right? If the distributor is the one that produced the product, I believe the return should go back to them. I mean, hear me out. So I don't agree with the state profiting, right? Because the state has an incentive to profit whether the bottle gets returned or recycled or not. But I think it's a greater incentive for the producer, the one that actually made the product, to actually care more, right, of their product. That, I guess you could put it versus, I guess the onus versus would be the producer versus the consumer versus the consumer versus the state profiting. You get what I'm saying? So in states like, let's say, Iowa and Oregon, where the beverage distribution industry keeping the unredeemed deposit, I guess that's more fair versus the state taking the, claiming the deposit. Like, what did the state do here? The state is just the middleman, right? And the state didn't make the container, and the state definitely didn't drink the container or anything like that, unless they bought the container from the distributor or whatever like that. It gets complicated, but I think I like the Iowa and Oregon systems much better. Oregon is actually a pioneer in this space. being the first state with container deposit laws on the books. Okay, so it says between March 11th, 2020 and June 2020, most states with container deposit legislation, except for California and Hawaii, temporarily suspended the bottle bill requirements as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I want to say, in New York, didn't suspend their bottle deposit, the bottle bill requirements. So when the coronavirus, aka COVID-19, was about, I actually was operating in New York City during the pandemic, and let's there were no shutdowns. In fact, I was considered an essential worker, right? So there were roadblocks and all kinds of things in Manhattan around that time. And I remember getting through them because I just was in my truck. I had my manifest showing that I had to be in downtown Manhattan. And they didn't know, the cops didn't know what I was doing or anything like that. They had no idea what I was doing in Manhattan. I just had this big old truck and I was down there and it was empty. I remember it well. In fact, I could share a few videos. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. I could share a few videos from around that time, a few videos and photos from around that time during the pandemic when I first started my bottle and can route. It was during the pandemic. It was actually during the lockdown. Everybody was inside, but I was outside, and so that was an interesting time. Yeah, I got a lot of footage and images from them. So, but let's continue on. Okay, so it says U.S. states and Canadian provinces with container deposits. So in the United States, you got between 5 and 10 cents. I think certain places you have 15 cents for liquor and that sort of thing. But different bottle bills around different states had their own systems. And like California right here, they have the California redemption value. So if you look on any empty bottle, right? So let me go and get an empty bottle really quickly. Okay, guys. Hold on really quickly and go and get an empty bottle so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, here we are. So if you look at every empty bottle, right? So this is an empty bottle of ginger ale, right? So if you look on the side of these bottles, you will see that uh, there are different labels on them, right? So if you look closely, you'll see on the side of this bottle there are different kinds of labels and stuff like that. If you read closely, you'll see all kind of different writings and stuff like that. You have to pay attention to these things because these are actually labels. Some of them actually tell you that you can get your money back for these individual containers. So if you found this on the beach or something like that, and you picked it up and took it back to the supermarket, you can get paid. And so CACRV, let's just go over what that means. CACRV is California Redemption Value, right? California Redemption Value, or CRV, or CA Cash Refund, or similar notations, right? It's just pretty much the California system where I believe that they go by the pound and they're not, well, let's just go over it because it's better to read it. So California, 5 cents for bottles and greater, 10 cents for boxed wine. So in California, it's 10 cents for boxed wine, pouches and cartons, 25 cents. Wow. Okay, 5 cents a bottle and 710 milliliters. So let's say like almost 1 liter bottles in California are 10 cents. So it's 5 cents for regular bottles, 10 cents for 1 liter bottles, and 25 cents for boxed wine, pouches, and cartons in California. Oh my goodness, New York is like in the Stone Ages when it comes to return laws. But yeah, that's the California return system and the CRV cash refund. So if you go over this states over here enacting a bottle bill, it says these are the 10 states that actually have a bottle bill on the books. And the first state is Oregon, however you like to pronounce it. The second state is Vermont. The third state is Maine. Okay, so these are all in the 70s. And as a matter of fact, we got a lot of progressive action in the 70s, all throughout the 70s. The majority of the bottle bills came into effect during the 70s. So we had Oregon in 1971, Vermont in 1972, Maine in 1976, Michigan in 1976 also, Connecticut in 1978. That's interesting. Connecticut had a return container deposit program before New York State. We had Iowa, way out in the middle of America, with a container deposit program before New York State. And we had Massachusetts in 1982, and we had New York in 1982. So New York and Massachusetts got their bottle return programs both passed the same year. Interesting. And so we also have California, which is by far the most advanced system in the states, in 1986, and the last state to have a container deposit system was Hawaii. Hope you guys enjoying the show so far. I think this is a pretty good live so far because I'm learning a little bit as well. You know what? As a guy that's been in this industry for a little while, it's nice to always go back and refresh yourself on this stuff. All right, so here we go. Hawaii, the last state. Let's just go over this, and we're gonna go over the stuff inside the chat. Go over some channel updates and some fun stuff, guys. Thumbs up if you are still here. And yes, yes. Hawaii Solid Waste Management Deposit Beverage Container Law, Act 176, established in June 2002. In addition, Hawaii charges a non-refundable, oh, so there's a non-refundable 1 cent fee per container to fund the program. Interesting. The fee increases to 1.5 cents if the redemption rate reaches 70%. Interesting. All right. Containers of aluminum, bimetal, glass, plastic, PETE, and HDPE, up to 68 US full ounces, all non-alcoholic beverages, excluding dairy. Well, I don't understand why these recycling laws all seem to exclude dairy products. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because the product becomes contaminated or something because it's mixed with milk. But I should really look into that. I don't know, guys. If you want me to look into why certain dairy products are not considered returnable in certain states, you let me know why. I really would like to know why. And why certain containers or why certain beverages are not considered beverages by law in certain beer, malt, mixed spirits, and wine. 76 redemption rate. Okay. Wow, interesting. Hawaii, y'all. Okay, so let's go back to the channel. And if you're new to the channel, please smash that like. My name is Mr. G, the recycling guy. Just going over a few things. Let's see. All right, I'm dual streaming 2 channels. Dual streaming, guys. Dual streaming on the mobile and on the horizontal. All right, so all right, let's go over that poll that you guys answered. A lot of you answered. This is a lot. We had 9 people voted. All right, that's good, guys. That's a lot. So I said we were going to discuss. I said we were going to discuss a few topics in this space, and some of those topics were Porsche and BASF, the chemical company, developing some recycling technology. Also picked vape waste cartridges, a new threat. The latest in New York bottle bill news. I think we'll cover that first. And Philadelphia sues bakery over labels. I think I'm going to search that in a little bit. Let's search that in a little bit. Let's search that. All right. Let's see. I know what article it is. Hold on. Yeah. Right. Sure. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Right. Okay. So I think you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cover all these topics though, with the least popular topic first. All right. So, okay. Yo, Casey, nice to meet you, man. Thanks for the comments, bro. I appreciate that. So what I'm gonna do is on my horizontal live. If you're still tuned in, click onto my channel, like, share, and subscribe, and click on the horizontal. Click on the other live because I'm dual streaming and we are answering these. We're just going to discuss. We're gonna go and discuss a few topics in the space. All right. So the first topic was Porsche and BASF technology, vape waste cartridges, and both of those ranked at 22% out of the 9 votes. And we have the latest in New York Bottle Bill News, which ranked highest at 33%, and Philadelphia sues bakery over labels, which ranked evenly with Porsche and the vape cartridges at 22% each. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go over the first article. Which is a Gurist article. I never heard of these guys, y'all. If anybody's heard of Gurist, you let me know about Gurist. I usually like Waste Dive. Waste Dive is a pretty good publication. If you guys want to know what publications do I listen to, like this channel is pretty much about me picking up cans and bottles in my truck, bottle redemption route, and a little bit of education on the bottle redemption industry. You let me know what websites you guys like. But my favorite website is Waste Dive. They have some pretty good articles on their pages. So I've never heard of these guys. Gurist. So it says here, a coordinated campaign of deception. Philly sues 2 companies over misleading recycling labels. Interesting. The lawsuit charges S.C. Johnson, owner of Ziploc Bags and Bimbo Bakeries, the country's biggest bread and snack food manufacturer. All right, so we got something like let's see. Can you guys listen to this article? Let's try to listen to this article. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, guy. Oh. Bimbo. Ziploc. S.C. Johnson. You guys have been caught being deceptive with your packaging, saying that it's recyclable, where we all know people just throw them in the trash and mix them up with other stuff. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you, big corporations? All right. So let's continue on. How dare you? I think we're gonna have to go over that New York state lawsuit right after this article. I'll just take the glasses off. Okay, so in short, this case was about misleading labeling on packaging from these large corporations that distribute a large amount of product across a lot of states, right? And Philadelphia decided to raise a lawsuit against them, saying that their packaging was deceptive because, in fact, their packaging had the three chasing arrows on it, which were deceptively made to make people believe that their packaging was recyclable and that people can go and drop off their uh, bread package at the store or their cookies container the packaging at the store and it would be recycled, which is actually absolutely not the case. Most stores would look at you like you were crazy if you went and tried to return your bag of potato chips, your empty bag of potato chips that you ate, and returned it to them and said, here you go, guys. Thanks for the potato chips. That was great. Here you go. Take your potato chips back." And so the packaging, it definitely starts with the packaging on a lot of these products, right? A lot of these products have misleading packaging. So where a lot of people say recycling is a scam, it's not really a scam. It's just a misunderstood system where actually there is no system. So a lot of times where there could be a system, an efficient system put in place, there either is no system or a very inefficient system or a very deceptive system, which gives recycling a bad name, right? So a lot of stuff can be held or hidden behind the three chasing arrows. So we have Philadelphia in a bold move suing Bimbo Bakeries for deceptive packaging. And not just Bimbo Bakeries, SC Johnson, a family company, for deceptive packaging using those three chasing arrows and saying things like this, like your wrapper is now stored drop offable, stored stored drop off recyclable. Look for this symbol, right? So, if they have this symbol and the how to recycle.info page, you can basically see that these labels, right? So how to recycle.info, these labels are basically, let's go to about us. Let's see what this is about. Let's go to these guys really quickly. How to recycle. Who we are. Recycling can be a challenge. How to recycle wants to help. Our label is based on nationally harmonized data and provides consistent and transparent package disposal instructions for consumers. Behind every label is a custom recyclability assignment. All right. Simplifying the recycling process. All right. That sounds good. Get more materials in the bin. I agree. Not only get them in the bin, bring them back to the producers and let the producers figure out what to do with them. All right. Stay up to date on how recycling policies differ from the United States of America versus Canada. All right. How to Recycle began in 2008 as a project of the Sustainable Packaging Coalition. All right. Not bad. How to Recycle label program finished its soft launch in early 2012 with 12 pilot companies. All right, that's interesting. We're going to get back to these guys. Let's open these guys up in another page, another tab. All right. The definition of recyclability. Hold up, guys. I think we found something here. So we're doing a little research. So I hope you guys are enjoying the chat. I hope you guys are enjoying the channel so far. Welcome to the chat. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. We're going over some recycling news and some basic industry news. And if you can click on my thumbnail, click on my channel, and we're going to discuss this horizontal live that we're doing on my channel. And so it says the U.S. and Canada laws. How to recycle label evolves with legislation in the U.S. and Canada. So this is just some new packaging, some new labeling on these packages. All right. So here we go. Right. So how to recycle. So basically these guys right here, they're just trying to get their label on stuff. So how to recycle, they seem to be challenged as an organization that they may be a scam or they may be a scam themselves. You guys aren't trying to change anything. You guys just want your labels on stuff. Okay, so that's pretty much that's the accusation here. So how to recycle, guys, do better. All right, we're gonna get back to you guys, but let's go to this article right here. from Letitia James. This is from the New York State Attorney General's office. And boy, the New York State Attorney General, isn't she in some other business going on? But I think she really did good this particular turn here. Attorney General James takes historic action against PepsiCo for endangering the environment and public health with plastic pollution. I remember this case. This was the case where New York State sued PepsiCo for having all their containers in the Buffalo River. So they did like a survey, and the number one branded container that was found polluting the Buffalo River were Pepsi bottles, were Pepsi products. And so this is actually from 2 years ago. So it says hundreds of PepsiCo products found along Buffalo River jeopardizing the environment and public health. A.G. James' lawsuit charges PepsiCo with harming the public and failing to warn consumers of environmental and health threats of its single-use packaging. Crazy. I remember this one because it was big. It looked as if we're actually getting somewhere. As someone that advocates in this space, this looked like something that we were more or less going to be getting some headway in. And I don't know, man. I didn't really hear too much after that. What was the lawsuit settled for? Let's do a little bit of research and follow through here. So it says here, the lawsuit. So this is legit the lawsuit. Let's see what happened with the lawsuit. So this is just the document, the press release, right? Let's go to what actually happened, right? Let's go to what actually happened after the lawsuit, because that was 2 years ago. Let's see if the lawsuit was settled. Okay. Let's go to good old Perplexity. You guys know about Perplexity.ai? Not Perplexity. Sorry. I don't know what the hell that is. Yeah, but not Purplexity either. Or Suplexity. Here we go. No. Okay. What was the outcome of the 2023 New York State Attorney General lawsuit versus PepsiCo? Yeah. Lawsuit. What was the settlement? Because the people would like to know. Okay, so it says here, the outcome of the 2023 New York State Attorney General versus PepsiCo lawsuit was a complete dismissal of the case by the New York Supreme Court in October 2024. Dun, 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 dun. The Attorney General, Letitia James, had challenged that PepsiCo was responsible for significant plastic pollution in the Buffalo River due to its single-use plastic packaging, seeking penalties and corrective actions. All right. But this is what the court ruled. It says here, Justice Emilia looks like he worked for Coca-Cola, but let me not butcher his name. Koliakovo. Justice Emilio Koliakovo ruled that PepsiCo could not be held liable for pollution caused by third parties who improperly disposed of its products. Objection. That's BS. Your Honor, Emilio Koliakovo. Your Honor, I object. I object a lot. All right, Ejecta coli Cobo. So okay, so let's move on, right? Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. So basically, New York State sued these large conglomerate called PepsiCo, but the judge in the case ruled that uh, Pepsi could not be held liable because Pepsi did not pollute the Buffalo River or any other local waterways, but they did by proxy. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. PepsiCo and all these large corporations, they don't necessarily. PepsiCo and these large corporations don't pollute themselves. They pollute by proxy, right? They use you to do it. They use everybody to do it. Everybody that purchases a returnable, disposable plastic single-use container and throws it away, they basically say, "Ha ha! Thanks for your money," because it didn't cost us that much to make the stuff that you drank, but you drank it. It actually cost more for that bottle that you got in your hand and that packaging. And thanks for throwing it away, and it's no longer our fault, right? Do you understand how much onus is taken off of them for you doing that, right? You understand they're literally walking away every quarter with billions and billions of dollars, which some of that should actually be coming back to you as a consumer. Yes, I said it, not as a shareholder, but as a consumer, right? Some of that should be coming back to you through an agreement that pretty much puts some of the responsibility on you to return their product back to them. But if you completely let them off the hook, it doesn't pan out. And so this is where you're going to get rulings like this, where it says that Pepsi slash Frito-Lay did not pollute the Buffalo River. Mm-hmm. And so the judge characterized the lawsuit as an example of selective prosecution based on a naive theory. And I agree, it is a naive theory. Basically, just straight out trying to sue them. Maybe that wasn't the best way to do it. I agree. So it was a naive theory and one that imposing such liability would stretch the bounds of established law. I agree it's a naive theory because right. I agree it's a naive theory because it was tactically flawed. This lawsuit versus PepsiCo, this wasn't done from the people, right? We didn't ask for this lawsuit either. To be fair, the people of New York, we didn't know that New York State was going to sue PepsiCo. Like, who is this lawsuit on behalf of? Was it on behalf of the people of New York State, right? Which you would see it in the lawsuit. Let's go back. All right, let's go back. Let's go back. You'd see it in the lawsuit. There we go. So you'd see it in the lawsuit right here, right? You'd see it whether it say, aha, the people of the state of New York so she had the power of the people. Interesting. The state attorney can do stuff on behalf of the people without the people knowing. Because I really didn't know about this. To be honest with you, Letitia James should have had me on the legal team because I would have said something about this. I would have said, respectfully, Letitia, this is a tactically flawed strategy. As you can see, you have images right here of all the PepsiCo products pulled out of the Buffalo River, these Cheeto labels and these bottles and all these orange juice bottles, all this stuff. It's absolutely horrible. We got an Arizona bottle in here. We're going to get you, Arizona. We're going to get you next. Okay? Arizona, you have been summoned. Let me go get some water real quick, guys. I'm going to go get some water. I'll be right back. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? hope you guys are still enjoying, if you are even still there. Now, but I'm having fun. Let's continue on. So it says here that this was all the plastic waste collected in April 22 in the Erie Basin Marina in the city of Buffalo. Basically, this is all of the stuff: Gatorade, Lay's potato chips, all the stuff that people just threw in the water, right? And this is stuff that corporations are happy to be off the hook from the responsibility of having to dispose of also. But I think, the system itself is kind of it's flawed, and it could definitely use some modernization, right? It doesn't have to be we completely throw corporations under the book, under the table. I think we can do something much better, right? We can create better systems and better designs within those systems to be able to incentivize people, and give some value back to the people, give some value back to the people and corporations. Like, come on now, there doesn't have to be this this non counterintuitive system that we have in front of us. Excuse me. So, if you're just joining the live, welcome. My name is Mr. G, the Recycling Guy. We're just going over some news as far as what is going on in New York State with the state of bottle return laws. But no. We're actually going back to this article. So this is the article that went to that started it all. So this is where we were talking about municipalities like Philadelphia over here suing SC Johnson, the makers of Ziploc, and Bimbo Bakery, the makers of different Bimbo snacks and things like that. And then we were talking about how New York State sued PepsiCo. But then we actually also found out that New York State lost that lawsuit due to the way the lawsuit was even formed, right? So that's interesting. We can go back into that a little while later. I don't know if you guys are interested in that sort of thing, but I will definitely be doing some more research into why that was. So let's move on. What was the next topic that we were talking about? So the next least most popular was vape cartridges. Are they a waste or a new threat? And this is actually my favorite publication in the space, Waste Dive. So Waste Dive has a lot of good articles that talk about different stuff inside the space. So it says here, vape waste pilot in Missouri aims to shed light on long-term disposal solutions. Data will be used to suggest permanent programs such as statewide collection sites or an EPR program, said the State Product Stewardship Institute and Missouri Solid Waste Management Office. Right. So what is this? So it says here, a vape pen and removable battery. Missouri's pilot take-back programs aims to divert such vapes from waste facilities and reduce management burdens on municipalities and schools that aren't equipped to handle the environment or health impacts. All right, so let's listen to that article. I hope you guys can hear the article inside the live stream. We're gonna go back and drop a comment if you cannot hear. Let me get a 1 if you can hear. All right, well, it looks like there's a lot of action, a lot of movement going on as far as what's going to happen with all of these vapes. Because you got to figure once a vape cartridge is disposed, you got one, the cartridge, which is made of plastic, and two, you actually have the heater. So the heater has a lithium ion element in there that has to be disposed of properly. You can't just dispose of it in the environment. It's very toxic and it's harmful to whatever the lithium ion gets exposed to. Um, uh, so it looks as if there's some pilot programs that are going to be taking effect in New York, I think, also. Vape collection co-pilot in New York. Let's see. Let's keyword that real quick. All right. Let's see. All right. That's basically the same article right there. So I don't really see much as far as news. We have the largest criminal vape enforcement action. No, 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 no. We're not trying to criminalize anything. We just want to make sure the stuff doesn't get thrown away into the environment. I'm not against what people put in their bodies. You can put whatever you want in your body. I'm not going to stop you, but just don't destroy the earth. So you don't really see much as far as any news in New York pilot program. Let's see. You don't see any news as far as vape collection and recycling. Oh, okay, here we go. A pilot program for vape collection and recycling has been initiated in New York City. The Vape Waste Project launched a pilot program in the past few years, allowing people from the United States to mail their used e-cigarettes for free recycling, ensuring all components are properly processed. This initiative is part of a broader effort to address the environmental impact of disposable vapes, which contribute significantly to landfill waste and contain toxic substances like nicotine and lithium ion batteries. Okay, this looks decent. Happy eco news. All right. Okay, only good vibes. Vape recycling in New York City. Let's see. A horse, a mule, and a donkey walk into a bar. However, April 1st is behind us, and we're very close to May 31st, aka World No Tobacco Day. There's a certain urgency about this date, for sure not the urgency of bursting into laughter. So excuse the misunderstanding and misspelling, as I meant to say only good vapes. Okay? Hence, let's switch from classic jokes to brainstorming for viable solutions, and then making them stay by turning them into classical, long-standing ways of taming the current environmental vape crisis. A vapes policy activist, a grassroots vapes recycler, and a vapes recycling nonprofit founder walk into a park. Well, that's interesting. Wow. A vapes policy activist, a grassroots vapes recycler, and a vapes recycling nonprofit co-founder walk into a park. Sounds much better. Wow, isn't that just the start of all nonprofits? Or after, wow, interesting. You got to have the nonprofit co-founder, the activist, and the grassroots person. There's a message there. Anyway, so true story. This group is about to walk into a Brooklyn park, always packed with a young crowd, a demographic familiar with e-cigarettes, and setting up a table promoting proper vape disposal on May 31st. So there's a sign here that says "Recycle Your Vape," and it was a drop-off event in Brooklyn, New York. You see, these devices are made of metal, plastic, lithium-ion batteries, and even when empty, they still contain toxic traces of nicotine. Regardless of their legal status in any country or state, e-cigarettes will continue flooding the market. And until more people decide to quit, vapors should have the option of recycling them correctly with ease. The policy activist spent a few years trying to comprehend when we'll have an official collection and recycling method in place. The ashtrays of the 2020s. He spoke to politicians, teachers, researchers, school principals, nonprofits, and city officials, but he didn't really reach a conclusion. Instead, he got burnt out. The grassroots vapes recycler engaged a few thousand users since 2022 and dropped at recycling facilities over 350 pounds of vapes. Also got burnt out. She feels like a girl with a lemonade stand holding the spot for an organized recycling system to take over. In fact, a hefty 350-pound barrel of lemonade, but still a joke compared to the 500 tons annual usage in New York City. All right, well, I don't vape, guys, so this is some interesting news for people that do vape. So if you're a vape person, we have a pilot program going on in Brooklyn, New York, and it may be going on next May 31st. You drop off those vapes. So, guys, if you do vape, do you recycle any plastic with deposit? Well, Godfrey and Prado, what's up? Well, the only plastics that we do recycle around here with a deposit are beverage containers and, in rare cases, laundry detergent bottles. But that's the only types of containers that we do recycle over here with a deposit. Okay, so going back to the screen, it looks as if this pilot program, hopefully it's a success. It may be coming back next May. So look out for that, all you vapors in the chat. All you vapors in the chat. All right. So we're going to go to our next topic. Porsche. Here we go. Porsche, BASF, and BEST successfully complete a chemical recycling pilot project. Porsche and BASF SE, in cooperation with the technology partner Best Bioenergy and Sustainable Technologies, have successfully completed a joint pilot project for the recycling of mixed waste and end-of-life vehicles. The project demonstrates the recyclability of high-performance plastics contained in the so-called automotive shredded residue. Okay, a mixture of shredded parts such as foams, plastics, and paint particles, mainly from end-of-life vehicles. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff, and I definitely know what ASR is, automotive shredded residue. Definitely. Currently, the complex mixture of a variety of materials can only be thermally recovered. Interesting. Porsche aims to promote the circularity in the manufacturing of its vehicles and has set itself the goal of increasing the proportion of recycled materials in its vehicle. Well, that's noble of you, Porsche. You guys have been making such fine vehicles all these years. It's about time that you give back, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Porsche aims to promote the circular economy in manufacturing of its vehicles and had set itself in the goal of increasing the proportion of recycled materials in its vehicles. Gasification is a form of chemical recycling, so it's similar to pyrolysis. Gasification is a form of chemical recycling that can be used to convert mixed waste streams into valuable new raw materials. For example, for plastics production in the future, it could be an alternative to the current thermal recovery process and complement Porsche's circular economy strategy. Chemical recycling enables the processing of plastic waste that cannot be mechanically recycled for technical, economic, or ecological reasons. The pilot project serves to evaluate the potential of automotive shredder residue as a future source of recycling. The completed trial uses a recycling process that, for the first time, completely dispenses with fossil fuel based input and instead uses bio based raw materials such as wood chips in addition to automotive waste. Advanced gasification technology is used to convert plastic waste into synthesis gas at high temperatures. Okay. Within the BASF network that integrates this synthesis gas, new plastic is produced for component manufacturers, a so called polyurethane formulation. As part of the pilot project, the formulation was used for new steering wheels. Okay, so they're coming up with new forms of polyurethane, which is different that they're going to be using in their steering wheels. All right, that's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, it's not like Porsche's it's a hotly consumed product among the masses, but I mean, it's a small step. 100% recycled steering wheels. They got my attention. All right. The recycled raw material was attributed to the new plastic using a mass balance approach. Nice. Porsche projects like these allow us to evaluate how we can further develop the circular economy as a sustainability field at Porsche and how we can anchor chemical recycling in our strategy in the long term, says Dr. Robert Kallenberg, head of sustainability at Porsche AG. We are testing new recycling technologies with our partners in order to increase recyclate quotas, gain access, in order to increase recyclate quotas, gain access to previously unusable recyclate sources, and evaluate new processes for waste streams that are currently being thermally utilized. Not bad. BASF orders a wide range of recycling solutions that we strongly believe that different recycling technologies have to add up to a wide spectrum to achieve recycling targets. We prioritize the mechanical recycling and continuously improve its efficiency, the type of waste, the level of sorting, determine which technology is most suitable. We are convinced that complementary technologies like chemical recycling are needed to deal with the remaining waste that is still incinerated today, explains Martin Jung, president of BASF's Performance Materials Division. So chemical recycling is a thing. It's actually something that's being done in the industry, and there needs to be different efficiencies put in place for it to become feasible, right? So if you have YouTube and you guys have looked at the channel Nature Jab, which is Julian Brown's channel, the guy Julian Brown, he's coming up with a new efficiency on how to turn plastic waste into fuel, right? So would you believe this large corporation like Porsche is doing the same thing that Julian Brown is doing, right? But Julian Brown is doing it on a smaller level, and he's finding efficiencies in the system so that people like me and you can use it. But Porsche is literally using that technology so they can use it to make money, and actually they're using the technology the right way to make recycled steering wheels, right, with all the shredded materials that they would have from all their destroyed vehicles or wasted parts and that sort of thing. So chemical recycling is actually the future of recycling, right? So it's not just going to be picking up and sorting, it's actually going to be the sorting and the conversion of the materials, right? So I hope I'm getting a little more higher view audience with this outlook, because that is indeed the future, chemical recycling. You have a lot of nonprofits that want to get people to look the other way and say, oh, chemical recycling is a scam. It's actually not, right? It's something that needs to be looked at as far as recycling as an entire process, or recycling as a concept. It's not even 100 years old, right? Because with the dawn of the industrial age, well, all we did was produce, produce, produce. We didn't care about where the waste went, right? It was only since the 1970s where we actually had an eye on these things. And so now we're at the stage where chemical recycling has become something that is on the table, right? So let's continue on. So it says here, when fed into large, complex, and continuously operated production facilities, these new circular raw materials are mixed with conventional fossil fuel raw materials and processed into plastic precursors. So this is like a way of making virgin plastic, right? By not actually using from fossil fuels. So it's a way of making plastic with a much less impact on the environment, which is pretty cool. I mean, at some point, we're gonna have to slow down the production. It's too crazy the way we produce plastics for them to be thrown away like that. So I fully understand the need for recycling and everything like that. Hopefully, this channel helps make that clear to you guys as well. Let me get a thumbs up in the chat if you guys are still here. And once again, my name is Mr. G. I'm a local recycling guy based out of New York. I operate my own independent bottle and can redemption route. I've been doing YouTube like 3-4 years as a hobby. I haven't been doing this long term. I'm getting more comfortable going live and everything like that. I'm dual streaming right now. So if you guys click on my channel, hit subscribe, check out my other stream where I'm actually showing this stuff live. And we're just going over the news about Porsche and BASF successfully completing a chemical recycling pilot project where they're taking all the automotive scrap, the shredder residue, the styrofoam, and stuff like that, and turning it into parts for their vehicles, which is cool. Like they turned a bunch of recycled materials into steering wheels, which is all right. This is a large corporation actually recycling and turning their products into new products. All right. So let's just look at this diagram right here. Hopefully you guys can see the diagram. All right, cool. Cool. So this diagram right here, come on. It says stage one is that end-of-life vehicles are dismantled into individual parts, right? Like the doors, the windows, the seats, everything, the carpets, everything in the vehicle, the interior is completely shredded and dismantled. And stage two is the automotive shredder residue, which is all of that stuff after it goes into the crusher, the shredder, and everything. It's all mixed recycling. So you have bits of metal mixed between bits of styrofoam and everything like that. It's like functionally and practically impossible to separate and sort the materials at that stage, right? So what they're going to do is actually they're going to be using the chemical recycling process, which is literally inserting all of that material, right? All of that material into a gasifier, right? So what it does, it says here, let's go to the automotive shredder residue, right? So it's basically all the pieces of the vehicle after it's been shredded. So it says it's the plastics, the foams, and pieces of foil that are difficult and next to impossible to sort and recycle, right? So the next stage will be gasification. So they take huge chunks of this material, huge clumps of this material, and stuff it into a gasifier, right? So gasification is the chemical recycling that offers a solution. These substances are gasified in a special high temperature process. Syngas is produced. So syngas is kind of like a biogas, not really a biogas, excuse me, not bio, synthesized gas. So the burning of these materials is used to make power energy systems, energy production systems in a sense. And the synthesis gas, excuse me, is transformed and integrated into the chemical feedstock pool. A so-called polyurethane formulation is produced. So the waste product of this product, I guess, is a new raw material. And so this, or at least the precursors for the new raw material. So in stage 5, that formulation, right, which is a byproduct of the syngas, is sent to the supplier and expanded into new foam. All right, so the vehicle component, the new foam, can be used in the production of the steering wheel. So all the new Porsche steering wheels are going to be made using this process right here. Interesting. All right, so that's very good. And this is the automotive shredder residue. This is what it looks like, right? This is what it looks like. And this is the shredders that go and chop up and mix up all the automotive shredded residue. All right, so moving on. These are the steering wheels. So I guess these are what the new steering wheels are going to be looking like. These are all the new Porsche steering wheels. You got the nice Alcantara leather one. Excuse me, the Alcantara. You got the different leather bound ones. You have a black and you have a gray. And you have that special centerpiece for the horn. Porsche always made some nice steering wheels. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Very nice looking cars. If you've ever driven a Porsche, you know what I'm talking about. Very nice vehicles. Fantastic vehicles. Okay, so that's it for the Porsche news. Let's go on to the latest in New York State bottle bill news. Bottle bill news. Bottle bill news. Let's see. So we're going to the Empire State Redemption Association page. That's the current coalition, or one of them, that are on top of helping to modernize the New York State bottle bill to get it something like a California system or something a little more modernized. So if you look at this photo, this is an image of a bottle return facility. So this is a redemption facility with, it looks as if an elected official paid them a visit. And I actually know some of the people in this image right here. And right. They're basically showing an elected official what it looks like in a bottle return facility. And so some of these facilities are really, really small. And they're cottage industries, right? Because bottle redemptions initially wasn't a big business. It's going to be a big business in the future. Best believe me. If no one on YouTube tells you that bottle redemption is going to be a big business in the future, right? Let me be the first guy on YouTube to tell you. Bottle redemption is going to be a super huge business in the future. If I can show you a projection chart, I think I will, right? Let me be the first one to tell you that bottle redemption will be a very big business in the future. Okay, so it looks as if that was the latest news, and we can see that it's basically the latest news is you have a lot of redemption center closures, which is kind of sad, right? It's really sad because you have a lot of inflation in the economy. Let's look at some of these. Let's look at a few of these posts, and we're going to start with this one. So it says here, the Attorney General is pushing our request for an investigation into the Inspector General. If you enjoy getting your deposit back, please file a complaint today. New York State is quietly turning your deposit into a tax. Don't let them continue to get away with this. All right. And there's a form over here on this Facebook page. Mind you, if you want to know the latest, check out the Empire State Redemption Association page on Facebook. All right. And hopefully you guys can see that there's actually a coalition of people looking to change the laws. Because as you can see, according to this chart, right, where the taxes and fees, right, for the other taxes and fees in New York State, a large chunk of that come from the returnable beverage container deposit. So if you guys were paying attention earlier in the chat, you notice that some return schemes, right? Let's go to the Wikipedia page. Some return schemes, right, have they have return schemes where the let's see, like in Connecticut, Michigan, and Maine, some return schemes have ruled that the unclaimed deposits are deemed abandoned by the public and property of the state. So by virtue of this chart right here, by this graph right here, you're seeing that over 68.4% of the other money, right? This is the miscellaneous fund in New York State, comes from unclaimed beverage deposits. That's how many of them there are. That's how many beverage deposits that people just leave on the table. People are literally just leaving their money on the table. I don't know why, right? But 68% of the miscellaneous money in New York State actually comes from unclaimed beverage deposits. I'm not crazy, y'all. I'm going to be the first channel on YouTube to let you know that bottle deposits and bottle redemption are actually going to be a very viable industry in the future. And what we're going through right now with all of these redemption center closures is a shakeout period, so the big wigs can come in and take all the money. Because if you pay attention, all the redemption centers are small. If you look at this operation right here, this is probably a very small staffed, very low roof, kind of a facility, one, maybe 2-3 machines at best. And I see some minor sorting going on over here. Bottle redemption is a cottage industry, right? But it's soon to be a multi-billion dollar industry, because if the trajectory of how many containers is getting produced even just remains steady, we're gonna be swimming in containers in no time. You're gonna see containers literally everywhere. And you don't even have to be in a major city. All you have to do is go to a parking lot in your local Walmart. You're just gonna see them floating by. Okay? So 68% of all the other miscellaneous funds come from unclaimed beverage container deposits. Okay, so it says here, the Attorney General is pushing our request for an investigation to the Inspector General. If you enjoyed getting your deposit back, please file a complaint today. New York State is quietly turning your deposit into a tax. Don't let them continue to get away with this. All right, so this is a complaint form that we all sent to Letitia James's office to formally request an investigation on why the bottle deposit weren't going up and what is going on with all the unclaimed deposit money. So if you guys are just joining, we sent a letter to this New York State Attorney General's office. This is the same New York State Attorney General that sued PepsiCo, right? So we're definitely trying to get them to do the right thing, but it seems like they're doing the right thing without letting us know. And when it's time for us to tell them to do something, they're like, oh yeah, that's the attorney, that's the Inspector General's job. Let them do it. And so meanwhile, like National Grid increasing energy prices, this is another cost that redemption center owners cannot be facing in the rise in, with a flat industry that's completely dictated by what the government says. So it's crazy. Imagine you want a fixed profit, right? You want a fixed profit in your business, and all your bills, like your insurance, your electricity, and everything like that, go up. How would you feel? And so we got a post with redemption centers, the plight of bottle redemption centers being ignored by Albany, right? So yeah, the redemption center owners in New York State have been fighting in the New York State Capitol to get something done. Let's go over the photos in this space. If you want to take a look, let's take a look, right? So this is an image that basically represents it all. We're waiting for the politicians to act. This is not something that we can do by ourselves, right? We're literally in an industry where we're in an industry where it's completely controlled by government, right? So this is not like the gold industry where we're digging for gold, right, or whatever like that, and the price of gold fluctuates, it goes up and down. This is nothing like that. This is industry that's completely controlled by the government, and the government dictates the rates and the price, whether the government makes money or not. And so, which is crazy. We've actually been battling the government for quite some time on this issue, and we're not going to stop fighting. Let me show you another chart that shows you how much. Let me show you. That shows you how much money is made in the redemption in the container recycling system in New York State. So in New York State, the totals, right, ever since creation, or at least ever since 2010 to 2023, there have been $1.9 billion in New York State has made $1.9 billion in the unclaimed money, right? This is the unclaimed money that people don't pick up when they throw their can and bottle away. New York State wins. So if you literally have your bottle, you finish drinking your beverage and you throw it away, right? And you don't claim back your money, New York State gets the win. We don't want that. We want you to have your money, right? I want you to keep your money, right? Or at least I want you to at least save it and give it to somebody else. And in fact, I want New York State to raise the rate of deposits, right? So then that way people make more money, because these corporations are making a lot of money. PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, all these corporations are making billions of dollars by just having you think that it's your fault, which is crazy. All right. So since 2010, New York State has made $1.94 billion in unclaimed bottle deposits. This is how much people don't care. New York gets to make $2 billion. So, I mean, sometimes I feel bad when people say, oh, we don't have any money and everything like that. Well, there are ways of us to create and crowdfund our own sources of money, right? And one way to do it is bottle returns. You'll be surprised how much people do bottle drives, collect bottles as a ways of savings, right? To save for a trip and that sort of thing. You'll be surprised, right? And I think that it's time that New York raises that rate, because they have to raise it for the amount of overproduction that's going on, right? And so this is how much New York has been benefiting since 2010. $1.9 billion. That is a lot of money. Okay, so it's pretty much a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff been going on. And so this is the website called the Empire State Redemption Association. And you guys can check it out. It's on Facebook. Let's go to another website. Let's go to Bottle Bill 40. Let's go to bottlebill.org. Let's go over a couple funny cartoons. Okay. So these are a couple news articles, or at least a couple of political cartoons that I think you guys would enjoy. So this one right here, this is actually, I don't know if I could zoom in, but see this right here, this is actually one of the older, I can't zoom in. I can't zoom in. But it basically says the bottle litter tax and the beverage industry is it's a cartoon of the beverage industry. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put them in the community post after this. But yeah, these are some old political cartoons of the bottle redemption industry and the beverage industry, basically trying to get legislators to think that they were trying to the advocates of a bottle bill were trying to implement a tax. So I'm going to say that again. So some of these old political cartoons showed the beverage industry's attempts to kind of make sure that a bottle bill never came around or never came to existence. Okay. This is just one image. Here's another one. So this one is actually, it looks like a congressperson in the chambers making a statement. And this one is from the Lexington Herald Leader from 1999. So this is a history of bottle redemption legislation from 1999. And so this political cartoon kind of says a lot. You got to figure a lot of people weren't even around in 1999, right? Like think about the current crop of people that are circulating the internet right now. All of the people that come into the live and make faces and say all the funny stuff. These are mostly young people. They weren't even around in 1999. And so in 1999, the bottle bill was something that was being fought about, and it didn't really change until almost 10 years later, which is so interesting. What is this? Bottle bill plus bottle bull is bottleneck. What does that say? Bottle bill plus bottle bull equals bottleneck. That's right. The bottle bill plus bottle bulls. That's the beverage lobbyist saying that, oh no, guys, this is going to result in a loss of jobs. We want our jobs. If you make a bottle bill, we're going to lose our jobs, guys. We're not going to be able to pay the delivery guys for the sodas. BS. People are always going to keep buying Pepsi and Diet Coke and all those products. So the beverage industry has always come up with these fancy charts and fancy jargon and fancy ways of saying that bottle bill legislation is going to end up causing losses of jobs. That is not true at all. Okay? Uh-oh. Okay. So now we have another one where you got the gun makers and tobacco companies all in the office saying, listen, guys, we're in the marketing room. How are we going to get people to buy more of our stuff? You got the gun manufacturers, the tobacco companies, and the junk drink bottlers. Give it up for the junk drink bottlers, though. They're the fattest guys in the room. Where the tobacco companies and the gun makers in this meme are like death. The tobacco is like a death smoking a cigarette, and the gun maker is like a death holding a pistol. It looks like this is a marketing meeting for, okay, guys, repeat after us. Consumers enjoy our products. What happens after we sell them isn't our problem. So this is the mantra of the beverage industry. They've always wanted to put the responsibility onto the consumer to make the consumer seem as if they are the ones that are polluting the environment and not them. I say that system needs to change. Why? Because we can get a lot more efficiencies in a system that shares the responsibility between the consumer and the producer and doesn't have the state as much of an intermediary, right? I think there can be a balance formed here, right? The state has to be the one to, to kind of like consecrate it and make it real, right? And from there on out, there should be sort of a contract between the producers and the consumers of the product. Like, it should be in the culture. It should be something that it wouldn't take more than 10 years for it to get done and for it to be ingrained in the culture. It just has to be sold and marketed the right way to people, right? So let's move on. Who are the real bad guys? Who are the real bad guys in the room? Okay. Aluminum can't. Okay, so we got this another political cartoon that says goals: use more recycled content, use more greenhouse gases. And aluminum can't says explain how goals will be reached. So it looks like this is an Alcoa product salesman trying to find a way to market kind of a green sales technique, but knowing that aluminum is actually something that takes a lot of greenhouse gases to produce. And if you don't have cheap hydroelectric power, you ain't making no aluminum, buddy. You ain't making no aluminum without no cheap hydroelectric power. All right, I hope I said that clearly. I'm going to say it one more time. You're not making no aluminum without no cheap hydroelectric power. This is why Alcoa is mostly based out in Canada. From what I believe, Alcoa has a big, huge footprint out in Canada because that's where the cheap hydroelectric aluminum smelters are even located. They close so many aluminum smelters in America, it's not even funny. Interestingly enough, where we at? Ooh, where we at? All right. And so it says here, positive change. So it says here, survey says cash helps the recycle rate. So that's the positive change that can result. I fully agree. So this is an image of somebody putting a can into a recycling machine or reverse vending machine and getting their change back. W recycling machines. I love it. W reverse vending machines, guys. So we got a message in a bottle. Message in a bottle. Message in a bottle. Looks like we got a politician inside of a bottle stuck. It looks like it's capped by New York State bottlers. Oh, beverage redemption industry. The New York State bottlers. Uh-oh. This is not just the beverage industry. It looks like the bottlers have gotten involved. So it looks like the bottlers have done whatever it took to keep the bottle bill reform inside the bottle, guys. So that's the message in a bottle here. W capitalism. Okay. Bottle bill versus the larger, louder litter lobby. Uh-oh, the bigger, better bottle bill versus the louder, larger litter lobby. So it's basically just a battle of money. That's what it's been. So from my experience lobbying and trying to get some positive legislation in New York State, in my experience, it's been about money. It's been about money and lobbying dollars. And I'm just gonna say it again. There's a lot of nonprofits in the space, a lot of people making money in the space in the lobbying front, a lot of people getting those grants. But is any impact getting done? Is the environment actually getting saved here, or are we all just meeting and getting some of that sweet nonprofit money? I don't know, guys, but it looks as if the larger, louder litter lobby is winning, unfortunately. Unless we wake our asses up and get together and actually do something about it and come up with a better system. That's really all it's about, guys. Coming up with a better, more efficient system. Let's go back to the boardroom, guys. Let's go back to the boardroom. It said then it's agreed. $100,000 for litter control and recycling and $2 million to market it. That's right, guys. What did I say? We're going to dedicate $100,000 for litter control and recycling and $2 million to publicize it. All right. More money for marketing than for the actual solution. I love it. Don't you just love it when they just put more money into the marketing than to the actual solution? W capitalism, guys. Okay. And so, what does it says here? I'm surprised there's no refund on the empty bottles. Literally, the consumer is an uneducated baby that once they consume the product, they throw it away. They end up asking themselves. It's so simple, even a baby can ask. I wonder if that even makes sense. And so some of these political cartoons, they go back like 20, 25 years, y'all. Like bottle legislation has been like something that's been somewhat of a hot button issue for people that pay attention, especially like small townships and stuff like that, but not as much as people in the big city. I'm probably one of the only few people that live in a big city that are actually concerned with a topic like this, right? And I'm actually proud of that because, I mean, maybe somebody else will follow behind me and we'll see how we can do and move the needle that way, right? I'm loving this live right now. I hope you guys are enjoying this live. I'm really enjoying myself right here. I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm really feeling good. I hope you guys are enjoying. And yes. I just dropped the video on my channel. Please feel free to check out the videos on my channel. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the like, guys. I appreciate it. I'm at 12K subscribers. I'm going to keep going live. Let's keep going. Let's do it. Okay. So this cartoon is basically just a beachgoer, and it's another message in a bottle. So this message in a bottle says, expand the bottle bill. That's all. All right, guys. So, I mean, that's pretty much where we at right now. So this the point of my channel is to bring more education into this particular issue. And if you guys really, really want to know some more, find out more. No, seriously, find out more at bottlebill40.org. Uh-oh. Who's Bottle Bill? Who's Bot Bill? I don't know who's Bot Bill. I meant to say Bottle Bill. So Bot Bill, Bottle Bill, not Bot Bill. So if you go to bottlebill.org, let's go over this quick YouTube video. All right. That kind of covers what is the bottle bill. But it says here, passed in 1982, the bottle bill established the New York State Container Deposit System, our state's most successful recycling program. But after more than 40 years, it desperately needs an update. This idea is supported by environmental groups, small business owners, and concerned individuals. Oh, what the? Okay, yeah, definitely sign up for the email list, guys, so you can keep up with the latest news on bottlebill40.org. But the idea is supported by environmental groups, small business owners, and concerned individuals, okay, who are all working to get a bottle bill passed this year, 2025, in Albany. We did not get the bottle bill passed in 2025, guys, so somebody's got to update the website, all right? But we're going to try to get the bottle bill passed in 2026 in Albany, all right? Okie dokie. Yes, New York is suffering from a solid waste crisis. Our municipal government spend more than $400 million a year on curbside recycling. Meanwhile, less than 20% of our waste ends up being properly recycled, a crime. In the meantime, most of our landfills are nearing capacity. A stronger bottle bill will increase redemption rates, reduce litter, and support vulnerable New Yorkers while protecting jobs and businesses. That lasted several years. Heavy lobbying from the beverage industry has blocked reform. Now, in 2025, the bigger and better bottle bill has been introduced in the Assembly, A6543 and Senate S5684. They're probably going to have to redo them because we're probably going to have another bill or maybe these same bills again next year. But stay tuned, guys. And has broad support with currently 80 and counting legislators. Well, we'll see if we can try to get this thing passed in 2025. Let's watch this video. All right, guys. So that's pretty much the whole gist of it right there. And not just Bottle Bill 40. You guys can also go to Bottle Bill Oh, not bot bill again. BottleBillNewYork.com. Yeah. Where we at? Don't I gotta get? I guess it's BottleBillNewYork.org. All right, we're going to BottleBillNewYork.org. Come on, y'all. Oh. All right. I guess Bottle Bill 40 it is. So Bottle Bill 40 is the website to go to, guys, now. To go to. And as well as the Empire State Redemption Association. So, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed so far. This has actually been really, really good. Next time, I want to have an AMA. You guys can ask me any question on the vertical live or on the horizontal live. I don't think I had any viewers on the horizontal live say anything, which is fine. I'll be streaming maybe regularly. Maybe some more people come in, show some love and everything like that, say what up. But all in all, it's been a pleasure. And I will catch you guys on the next stream. Peace out. Oh yeah, wait, before I leave, always be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the like once again on the way out. Any topics that you guys want me to discuss, feel free to leave them in the comments. I have a few topics. I actually had a giveaway. So I had a giveaway on one of my videos that I haven't forgotten about you guys. I have not forgotten about you guys with the giveaway. Like I said, give me some time. I'm going to schedule, and we already have a winner, to be fair. We already have a winner. The winner was actually a lot closer. The winner was actually one of the first commenters, as a matter of fact. So don't worry, guys. We're going to get to him. We're going to get to the giveaway definitely before the end of the year. Definitely before the end of the year. I'm going to have something really special for you guys. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything. I usually hate forgetting stuff, but if you're just joining the live, hit the like. I'm on my way out. This has been a 2-hour live. I really loved it. This was really, really good. We covered a whole bunch of stuff: recycling news, channel updates, live chat, and ask me anything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Feel free to come back next time and check out my latest videos. That's it, guys. Peace out. I will be seeing you guys on another channel. See you guys later. Bye-bye.